Kentucky's landscape is dotted with brownfield sites affecting nearly every county and community in the Commonwealth.
Brownfields are properties that are abandoned or underutilized due to real contamination or even the perception of contamination. So they can be anything from an old factory to a landfill to mine-scarred lands and everything in between.
It could be a small piece of property, a large piece of property. It may have buildings on it that it's difficult or it's a challenge to reuse it or redevelop it.
These places that used to be part of our economic base are now left behind, a drain on our economy and in some cases a threat to our public safety. But to the Kentucky Department for Environmental Protection, they represent potential, an economic resource waiting to be reused.
Sometimes they have definite advantages over a greenfield site in that you may have a piece of property that already has water and sewer access to railroads, interstates, and things such as that. So if you were going to develop that property, you may already have buildings on it as well. You're not going to endure the capital startup costs that you might if you were to buy a greenfield site that hasn't been redeveloped.
Abandoned or underutilized properties create blight, decrease property values, invite crime, and often result in large-scale disinvestment in areas. Since 2005, one way the Kentucky Brownfield Redevelopment Program has helped communities address brownfields is by assisting in the acquisition of $12.7 million in assessment and cleanup funding.
One thing that we can do for nonprofits, local governments, and quasi-governmental agencies is our assessment program. So if one of these folks comes to us and wants to redevelop a property, we can do an assessment for them free of charge. So that would include a Phase 1 environmental assessment, a Phase 2 assessment, along with an analysis of brownfield cleanup alternatives. And from that point, if they're an eligible entity, we can actually help them prepare for a brownfield grant to help them with remediation costs.
In Owensboro, the redevelopment program helped the city take advantage of those assessment services to revitalize the riverfront.
So the brownfield redevelopment on Owensboro's riverfront allowed them to take down some older structures like an old executive inn, an old state office building, and turn it into an area with a brand new convention center, hotels to support that, a recreational area.
In Lexington, the city's bus service, LexTran, got a new home on a brownfield site.
It was a win in that LexTran finds itself, its main operating facilities closer to a lot of its clients. We no longer have a piece of property sitting there fallow that those that live around it have to look at, and that piece of property's been returned to the tax rolls and is being used to generate economic benefit.
Another key to the Brownfield program is the state's decision not to hold brownfield purchasers liable for past contamination. That policy has yielded greater economic investment.
According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, for every dollar that you invest in brownfields real development, you will realize $16 in profit.
Brownfields are great in that, A, we get to reuse something that's already there. We get to address human and environmental issues that might be present, and we can often provide economic growth through those redevelopment processes. So you're taking something that's blighted and abandoned and giving people opportunity to start businesses on them. And through that process, we get to address environmental issues that might be there.